Welcome to Encounter Wargaming. My name is Jay, and today we begin our look at the metaphysics of Warhammer 40,000. The universe of Warhammer 40k is such a massive mythos at this point in time. There's literally been hundreds of authors that have contributed to this mythos over the decades. This has created an incredibly rich fictional dimension that has attracted even more and more people to contribute to said mythos. I was having a conversation with Adam recently where we were discussing the origins of various gods within 40k, and Warhammer, of course, since both share the concept of the warp. During this conversation, Adam said to me, "You know, I've never really given it that much thought." Which I found a little odd since he's very into theology, but regardless of that, it dawned on me that I think about this stuff way too much. The concept of gods and demons and saints and all that is one of the many aspects of the Warhammer mythos that I find incredibly attractive. Outside of Warhammer, mythology and metaphysics has always kind of been a hobby of mine. Since Warhammer has such a rich and in-depth mythos built around it at this point, we have a lot of information about the sort of behind-the-scenes working of the 40k universe. In fact, there's a lot of metaphysical concepts that are constantly find their way into the fluff, especially when discussing things like chaos and psychers and the like. So today I'm going to begin a series of videos about the metaphysical concepts that show themselves regularly throughout the fluff of Warhammer 40,000. The goal of these videos is to provide information not only to those that are interested in metaphysical side of the mythos, but also those, like my good friend Adam, that don't think about it much, or haven't much before. So, without further ado, let's get into the inner workings of the Warhammer Universe. Welcome to 40k Metaphysics 101. To launch this series, we have to first form a foundation upon which the universe in question is built. This is, of course, the concept of the Immaterium, or better known as the warp. The reason for this is because all the metaphysical workings of the 40k universe relate to this concept in some way. Nearly every topic we'll cover in future videos will make reference to the warp, warp energies, psychic power, and the Immaterium. So what is the Immaterium? The real world, or physical universe, has a mirror universe. The Immaterium, or the warp, is a dark reflection of what takes place in the physical universe. More succinctly, it is a reflection of the emotions and thoughts of sentient races reacting to what takes place in the physical universe. It is a dimension of pure emotion. All the wants, desires, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and fears of sentient mortal races are made manifest in this dimension. Gods, demons, saints, and other entities exist in and because of this parallel universe. Time does not affect the warp in as much as it does not behave in an apparent constant like it does in the material universe. What is only a moment in the physical universe could be a decade or even centuries in the warp. By the same token, millennia in the physical universe can be but minutes in the warp. Distance is not the same in the warp either. Distance between places is not relative to their counterparts in the physical universe per se. Though the warp does connect and overlap with the physical universe, in the sense like the Eye of Terror or the Maelstrom, what could be miles in the warp could be light years in real space. And the same is true in reverse. The laws of physics we experience in the physical universe also don't apply in the warp. What appears as solid may actually be liquid. Gravity could work in reverse, propelling you upward instead of downward. Fire could burn bright, but without consuming a fuel source, and may not even provide heat or light. The Imperium of Man, generally speaking, considers the warp an evil thing that should not be encouraged to have influence over this world. The truth is, the Immaterium itself is not inherently evil. That is not to say that its inhabitants aren't. Before the mysterious creator race known as the Old Ones created many of the sentient races that currently inhabit the 40K galaxy, the warp was actually a very calm and docile universe. At that time, the only influence on the warp was, of course, the Old Ones. As of yet, there was not the constant war that takes place between all the races of the 40K universe currently. If the warp is a reflection of the physical, then it is only as evil as sentient beings make it to be. The reason humanity considers connection with the warp as heresy is because of the constant threat of demons and other natives of the warp possessing or controlling said humans, or other races for that matter. The Eldari, for example, are especially vulnerable to this, as their souls are connected to Slaanesh, since they, created that god with their intense emotions. But we'll get into that in more detail in future videos. Unlike humans and Eldari, the orcs, on the other hand, have no fear of the warp. Mainly because they do not create demons of their own. As a result, demons have little power over them. They do, however, have a strong connection to the warp in the form of Wa energy. They also have gods that reflect the personality of the orcs. The same way the Eldari gods reflect the Eldari race, and how the Chaos gods reflect humanity, as well as a few other races. We will go into more detail on the gods of various pantheons in future videos, but it is important to know now that without strong emotions on the part of sentient beings, things like gods, demons, and the like would not even exist at all. But there are native creatures of the warp, other than those created by mortal races. The Enslavers are one which come to mind, which once again I will describe in more detail in future content. For now, we will accept the fact that most of the inhabitants of the Immaterium are a byproduct of the emotions and beliefs of sentient races. Once an emotion becomes powerful enough, and there is a large enough amount of that emotion gathering in the warp, it will eventually form a consciousness of its own. Small emotions make small creatures. Big emotions make powerful beings. The beliefs and emotions of an entire race will even create a god. For example, the Dark Millennium is filled with war and bloodshed on all angles. All races in Warhammer 40k are at war with one another. Hence, Khorne, the god of war and bloodshed, is one of the most powerful gods in the universe, since war is a prevailing factor across the entire galaxy. What this means is that the warp is a chaotic, war-torn place because it is a reflection of a physical universe where orcs kill humans, Tau kill Tyranids, and the Eldari live in fear every day of their very soul being swallowed by a sexually depraved god. So no wonder humanity considers the Immaterium an evil place. The human heart and mind can be very evil places, indeed. Every human in the 41st millennium lives in fear of alien invasions, societal rebellions, demonic incursions, as well as just simply having to squeak out a life in harsh or even deadly planetary environments. When the world of mortal races is not a nice place to be, the Immaterium is also not a nice place to be. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. That's all we have time for today. Next time we'll discuss psychic abilities and how the warp makes this possible. knowledge of the Immaterium forms the basis for all further metaphysical discussion, and so I thought it was the best place to start today. Over the next few videos, we'll build on this foundation. From psychic power, we will move on to how gods and demons are made, as well as all the other awesome metaphysical concepts the 40K universe has to offer. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you would like to help support future content, please go to the description below and check out our Patreon campaign. If not, then just check out our Spreadshirt page and pick up a shirt. It helps support all the things we do here at Encounter Wargaming. And we'll see you at our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.